Hey there, welcome to yoga class for today. Today's class is called Empower Yourself Yoga. We're going to move through a flow where you can start to find empowerment with yourself, in your body, in your own practice. This sequence is designed to ground and focus you, open your heart, and prime your body to be functional. Now, really important for this class, you're going to want to have 2 blocks and a strap. So if you don't have a strap, know that you can use a belt or a scarf. Some people even use a rolled up towel. If you don't have blocks, know that you can use some folded up blankets or maybe some pillows if you're looking for something a little more cushy. So once you gather your props, go ahead and come into hero pose. Right now, as you can see, my shins and the tops of my feet are my foundation. Now, I know that for some people, this can be a lot of compression for the knees and it can be quite uncomfortable. So an option you can take is to take a block at the lowest height underneath your seat and then hug that block with your feet. If you still need a little more lift, you can place the second block. And if you don't have blocks, like I was saying before, or if the edges of the blocks are a little uncomfortable, then you're gonna wanna get on a pillow instead. So just coming onto this seat, into this hero pose, we're gonna give ourselves an opportunity to get centered. Just let your arms rest. Take a deep breath as you exhale, let go. And as you find yourself balanced on your blocks in this seated position, think about positioning the shoulders above the hips and the ears above the shoulders. So you've got a really straight spine. You can feel your seat rooted down onto the blocks and the crown of your head is rising up towards the ceiling. Let your eyes close. You might even feel your upper body shifting around. Give yourself a moment to get settled into this position. And as you feel your body grounding down into this pose, bring all of your awareness to your breath, your natural breath, the way that you breathe without force or control. And start to deepen that breath. Inhale all the way to the top of the breath. Feel the chest rise as you do this, and then exhale, open the mouth, sigh of relief. Let's try that again. Deep inhale all the way to the top of the breath. Exhale, open the mouth, let it go. And again. Exhale, let it go. Now continue to breathe in that way, but now inhaling and exhaling with the mouth closed. So you're inhaling through the nostrils, exhaling through the nostrils. Deep breaths, finding length on the inhale and the exhale. Continue to bring awareness to your breath. And maybe take a moment to choose an intention for your practice. If you have something that you'd like to honor other than empowering yourself, just notice what's coming up for you. Fully taking in this time of transition from whatever's already happened in your day into your practice. Let's take one more round of breath here. Exhale, soften. Flutter the eyes open if the eyes are still closed, and then take the arms outside of the body. As you inhale, sweep the arms up, fingertips towards the sky. Now, as you exhale, go ahead and lower one hand down. Maybe the fingertips graze the mat, maybe not. This will depend on the height of your seat. Inhale, reach the top fingers up. And as you exhale, lean over to your grounded hand. So as you lean over, make sure that your entire seat is on your props or the mat. You might come on to your palm if you were on fingertips. If you're sitting directly down onto the mat, you might come onto your forearm. Reach your bicep overhead. Feel a nice deep stretch in the side body. Reach, reach, reach. And on the next inhale, sweep both arms up, fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, opposite fingertips come down. Inhale, reach the top fingers up. Exhale, lean over to your grounded hand. Maybe transitioning from fingertips to the palm or from the palm to the forearm. Arm is overhead, reach, reach, reach. On the next inhale, arms rise up. Let's take one more on each side. Maybe now noticing that this second round, you can open up a little deeper. If you notice that one side is tighter than the other, then maybe you make the choice to stay for a longer amount of time on that side. If you're even, go ahead and switch it up. First, coming into center, and then opposite direction. Taking time to set up, and taking time to breathe into the pose. Next, inhale, use your energy to rise up, and then as you exhale, just let the hands float down. Now we're going to transition the station of our body from this seated, kneeling option, whatever, however you have yourself set up. And we're now going to come onto our bellies in a prone position, starting with Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. So if you're sitting on props, now's the time to lift up, come off of those props. Set them out to the side so they're available for you when you need them again. And then take your time to come onto your belly. Carefully finding your way there. Maybe you start in a tabletop position, maybe lowering onto the forearms and then extending the legs all the way until the belly is down and the legs are extended. So the legs are straight. From here, just take a moment to see how it feels to be belly down. And then lower the belly, lower the chest. Take your hands underneath your shoulders. Bring your chin down to the mat, maybe your forehead if that's more comfortable. And on your next inhale, lift the head, lift the chest, gaze forward. Press the tops of the feet to the mat. Pause here, continue to breathe, and see if you can gently lift your palms off the mat. Feel the activation in your back while you're getting extension for your spine. And then exhale, lower the palms down, lower the chest, lower the forehead. Take a full round of breath. On your next inhale, lift the head, lift the chest. Press the palms to the mat, and maybe now you also lift the belly. Getting more extension, bigger lift, gaze forward, breathe, and as you exhale, lower down. Now we're going to try that again, another option. Let's bring the feet together this time. And then slide your hands more towards the ribs. So lower than the shoulders. On your next inhale, lift the head, lift the chest. And if you have availability in your body, extend your arms straight. So you're lifting your body off the mat. The only connection you have are the tops of your feet and your palms. Now hold and breathe here. If this is too much, you can come back down to cobra. This is our upward facing dog. As you exhale, gently and slowly lower down by bending the elbows. Connect the legs, connect the belly, connect the chest. And then take a full round of breath here. Lengthen the arms by your sides. Now on the next inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, lift your arms, lift your legs. Hold the lift and breathe. Bring awareness to the sensation in the back space. And on your next exhale, gently lower down. Connect forehead to the mat, take a full round of breath. Inhaling deeply through the nostrils. Exhale, open the mouth, let it go. Take the hands back underneath the shoulders. From here, use your energy to push the mat away. At the same time, lift the hips. Send the hips back. Bring the big toes together. Transition now to child's pose. Now, this is a really important counter stretch because we just did several rounds of back bending, extension for the spine. Now we want flexion for the spine. So as you come into your child's pose, continue to send the hips to the heels. Arms are extended in front if the knees are wide. This will be really great for hip opening. If you feel like you'd rather give attention to your low back, you can bring your knees together, feet together, and then arms by your sides, forehead down. Still getting really nice flexion for the back, but now we're able to relax the shoulders. Now, if you find yourself in this position and your forehead does not meet the mat, you can position a block underneath your forehead. If your hips don't meet your heels, you can position a pillow or a blanket between the hips and the heels. So take a moment to modify using your props if you need to, and really honoring your body and what it needs right now in this practice. Once you get set up, with each exhale, soften into the pose. Feel a nice stretch in the back. Feel the forehead connected down. Know that child's pose is a great posture to reduce anxiety. It's also a really great posture to help us sleep better at nighttime. This is a pose that really helps to calm the nervous system, helps us to downregulate. Let's take a couple more rounds of breath here. Letting go with each exhale. Inhale, lift the head. Take the hands forward, now transitioning to a tabletop position. Now, once you find your alignment here, what you're looking for is that your knees are under your hips and your wrists are under your shoulders. Look to your hands, make sure that the fingers are spread wide, and try to position the inner elbows towards each other. With the palms on the mat, as you inhale, let your belly lower towards the mat, tailbone lifts. Exhale, lift your upper back as if you're trying to tap the ceiling. And again, inhale, belly lowers, tailbone lifts. Exhale, lower the tailbone, lift the back. Continue to move through extension and flexion of the spine. Know that as you're doing this, if you have any issues with your wrist, you can take a modified version by bringing the blocks to the mid-height underneath your forearms. This way, the wrists are free and there's no pressure on them, but you're still able to move through this cat-cow breath. So maybe try that if you need to for your wrist. If not, you can come back to the first option of how we were doing it. And just take one more full round, really exaggerating the movement. Find your way back to a neutral tabletop position. Now looking at your hands, we're going to throw in a little wrist stretch here if you need to. Right now the fingers are pointed forward. You can rotate the fingers out to the sides of the mat, and then you can rotate the fingers towards your body. Now the goal here is to keep the palms flat on the mat. Curl the toes and gently send the hips back. Now, if the palms disconnect, you've gone a little too far, so you're going to want to back out a little bit. Notice that the more you press the hips back with the palms grounded, you'll feel a nice deep stretch going up the forearms. Find your way back to center. Uncurl the toes, take your time. Rotate the fingers back to the edges of the mat, and then bring the fingers forward. Back to tabletop. And from here, we're going to transition to downward facing dog. So take your hands, one hand placement forward, giving yourself a little more space. Curl your toes, lift your hips way up high, and then think about sending the heels back, if this is okay for your hamstrings. If not, you're going to maintain a bend in the knees. Now, in this downward facing dog, think about sending the chest towards the thighs. From here, you might bend one knee at a time. I really like this option because as you bend one knee, you can feel really great sensation going up the straight leg into the hip. Maybe take one more on each side if you're alternating knee bends. We'll find our way back to center. On your next inhale, lift and lengthen that right leg, toes to the sky. Now, as you exhale, bend the knee, bring it forward. Hug it into the chest. Lift your back just like you did on our kneeling cat-cow. And then step your right foot forward. Now, with your right foot forward, you want your right knee bent and you want your left hand in line with your right foot. As you inhale, reach your right fingers up to the sky. Twisted lunge. Feel sensation in the hip. And then as you exhale, take your right hand down to the outside of the right foot. Pressing both palms to the mat. Inhale, lift and re-lengthen that right foot. Exhale, take the right foot down. Take a full round of breath in your downward facing dog. Inhale through the nostrils. Exhale, open the mouth, let it go. Inhale, lift and re-lengthen that left foot. Exhale, bend the knee, bring it under the chest, puff up the upper back. Take your time to step the left foot through. Now the right hand is in line with the left foot. As you inhale, reach the left fingers up, twisted lunge to the left. As you exhale, take that left hand down to the outside of the left foot, pressing both palms down to the mat. Inhale, lift and re-lengthen that left leg, toes to the sky. And then exhale, take the left foot down. Full round of breath in downward facing dog. Inhale through the nostrils. Exhale, open the mouth, let it go. Now coming into our pigeon pose. Lift the right foot, bend the knee, take the right knee behind the right wrist. Bring the right foot to the left edge of the mat. Now uncurl the left toes, lengthen the left leg. Look past the left shoulder. Make sure the left leg is straight behind you, including the foot. Now, my hips are pretty tight today, so I can already feel sensation in my right hip. There are lots of different modifications that we can make in this pigeon pose. If you already feel a stretch with your arms straight, then this is great. You can stay here. If your hip is really tight, think about bringing your right foot closer to your left hip. If your hip is more open, think about bringing your ankle in line with your knee so that your shin is parallel to the top of the mat. Again, if you don't want pressure on your wrist, then maybe you set up your blocks to rest your forearms on. You can lower down more by bringing your forearms directly down to the mat. You can open the elbows, stacking your hands so that you can position your forehead on your hands like a pillow. Now, as you open your hip in this pigeon pose, if there's a lot of space under your right hip that's causing you to lean over to the right, then I would take a prop like a block, a pillow, or a blanket under that right hip so that you're bringing the floor up to you and you don't have to worry about holding yourself up. You can just let that right hip rest on that cushy prop. Now, the more you fold, the deeper you're going to feel the stretch at that right hip. Stick with it. Bring all of your awareness to your breath. Exhale, let go. Couple more rounds of breath, really releasing tension from that hip. Noticing with this time, the opening getting bigger. So maybe you adjust. Maybe you come off the blocks if you were using them as a prop. Maybe you lower down even more, forehead to your stacked hands. Maybe your forehead comes all the way down to the mat. You decide. And then on your next inhale, lift your forehead. Press your palms to the mat. Extend your arms. And just take a full round of breath here. As you breathe, connect with yourself, your personal power. When you're ready to come out, curl those left toes. Now listen carefully. Lift your hips, and as you do this, step the right foot back. Take a deep bend in the left knee, right leg is straight. Take 2 rounds of breath here. Allowing the femur bone back into the hip socket. Nice stretch for the right calf muscle. And then from here, we'll come into the other side. So now we'll shift forward. We'll take that left knee behind the left wrist. Left foot makes its way over to the right side of the mat. Right knee lowers down. From here, you might send the right foot back further, then uncurl the toes. Now, pay attention to really take your time to set it up. This is a deep hip opener. We've got time here, so you want to come into it slowly, honoring your body. Look past your right shoulder. Make sure your right leg is straight behind you, including your foot. And then gaze forward. So think about your setup. This side might be totally different. It's really common for us to have one side tighter than the other, especially in the hips. So remember, if you've got a lot of space under this left hip, maybe you position a folded blanket or a pillow or a block. If you already feel a deep stretch, maybe you stay with your arms straight. If you don't want any pressure on your wrist, then your forearms can come onto your blocks. And then just lower the head down. Maybe the forearms come all the way to the mat. Maybe the forehead comes down to the mat. However you need to support yourself, do that. Take care of your body. Empower yourself by making the right choices to take care of your physical body so that you can move through your practice, gaining strength and flexibility. And in this time, we're also empowering ourselves by promoting peacefulness, gratitude. We're serving ourselves. We're taking care of ourselves through our practice. If you feel tension at the shoulders, then I recommend bringing the elbows out, lowering the forehead down to the stacked hands or forehead to the mat. Surrender to this pose, this shape, and just simply notice your breath. Maybe you even close your eyes and visualize each exhalation breath traveling into the left hip. Now slowly starting to come out, taking your time. First by lifting the forehead off of the hands. And then press your palms to the mat. So you're re-extending your arms. From here, we'll come back into that downward facing dog. So to get there, curl the right toes, lift the hips, step the left foot back. Left leg is going to straighten. Take a deep bend in the right knee. Take 2 full rounds of breath here. Remember to send your chest towards your thighs. And then bend the left knee. Both knees are bent. Slowly lower the knees down to the mat. Back to a kneeling position. From here, we'll take the feet out to one side. Walk the hands towards the body so that you can come onto your seat. Now from here, we're going to transition to reclined postures. This means that we're going to be laying on our backs. You're going to want to have a block or 2 close by to grab onto as we move through these reclined postures. So I would take the block to the middle of the mat near where your hips are going to be so that you can grab onto it. And then when you're ready, bring your legs forward. Make sure that you have enough space behind you to lower your back, your shoulders, and your head. And once you feel your entire back connected to the mat, the knees will be bent. Bring the heels in line with the glutes. And just let your body feel this neutral spine. Now in this reclined position, tuck your chin towards your chest, lengthening the back of the neck. Try to get your dog back onto her bed. Sorry, she wants to be included and do yoga. All right. Neutral spine. Maybe the hands come to the belly, feeling the breath. Just noticing how it feels to ground down. Sinking down with each exhale. Know that we're going to come into a supported bridge next. So taking your hand to grab onto your block. As you inhale, press your feet to the mat, lift your hips, and then slide the block under your sacrum. So if you're not sure where your sacrum is, find the waistband of your pants and then position the block lower than that. So more towards the glutes. You want to make sure it's not on your low back. We're opening the front of the hips now. So if you don't feel enough sensation, you can rotate the block to the mid height. Now that's going to be less of a surface area. So if that doesn't feel good, then you can take the lowest height and stack 2 blocks. Now check in with yourself. If you feel any pinching sensation at all, then you're going to want to modify where the block is. You don't want to hold into the pose with a pinching sensation because that could be a nerve that's being compressed. So you want to make sure that your body is safe. We don't want to cause nerve damage. And here we're just grateful for having the block. We're empowering ourselves using the props to take the supported bridge. Notice how the entire hip area feels. Let's take another round of breath here. From here, I want you to bring your hands to the block, holding onto the block for support. We're going to take a supported inversion. So we'll practice lifting one leg and then the other, and then extend the feet straight up. So if your block feels really wobbly and you're at the mid height, then maybe you bring the block to the lower height or readjust where your block is. Now, once you have the feet extended up to the ceiling, press through the balls of the feet. Imagine that you're sending your legs up through the sky. See if you can tuck your shoulders slightly under your body. Feel the engagement in the legs. Keep the legs together. Breathe. If this doesn't feel good, if this is too much activation for your thighs, then you can lower your feet back down to that supported bridge. And then you can decide if you want to extend one leg and then the other so that the heels are on the mat. Now, if you're taking this option, you'll feel a deep stretch at the psoas muscles. This is an awesome stretch if you spend a lot of time sitting in a chair. If you find that this is just too intense, then you can bend one knee at a time. I'll time you, so I'll let you know when it's time to come out and switch it up on the other side. So option for one knee bent, option for both legs straight, or option for the supported inversion with the feet straight up to the ceiling. Take the option that feels best in your body. Make sure that you're not feeling pain or major discomfort. Now, if you've got one knee bent and the opposite heel down, you're going to want to go ahead and switch it up. Come into the other side if that's the option that you took in this time. Otherwise, both legs are extended, heels on the mat, or balls of the feet pressing straight up to the sky. Wherever you are, feel into your body. Feel the power in your body. Feel the strength. Feel the deep stretching. Notice where this positioning is taking you, how it feels. Know that we've got just a couple more rounds of breath before we come out of this pose. If both heels are on the mat, bend both knees. If your feet are pressing up to the sky, bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet back down to the mat. As you inhale, lift the hips, press them up, remove your block, slowly lower down bone by bone from the top of your back down to your tailbone. Coming back into that neutral spine, giving yourself a moment here to ground down. Know that from here, we're going to want to incorporate our strap now as our prop. So looking around your space, bringing your strap close to you, take one end of your strap into your hand. The back is going to stay flat down. Lift your right foot, bend your right knee so that you can bring your leg closer to you, and take one end of the strap to the arch of your right foot. The other end of the strap to both your hands. Straighten your leg, left knee stays bent. And as you straighten your right leg, walk your hands up the strap. And as you walk your hands up the strap, pull the strap towards you. Now feel a stretch at the back of the right leg, in the hamstring. You might even feel this in the calf muscle. Continue to walk your hands up the strap if that's available. Continue to feel the stretch. Maybe you press the heel up to get a more intense stretch. As the leg opens up, maybe you see if you can go deeper, making sure that you're not to the point of pain or major discomfort, just feeling a deep stretch. You might even be able to grab your foot. If you don't have a strap, you might take your hands to the back of the lower leg or the back of the thigh, just avoiding grabbing onto the knee. And then from here, we'll bend the right knee. We're coming into half happy baby. Now, the right peace fingers, index and middle finger, can hook onto the big toe. You can keep your hand on the strap. You can take your hand to the pinky edge of the right foot. But what's important is you want a deep bend in the right knee, with the right knee coming outside of the right side of the body, outside of the ribs rather than into the chest. From here, extend the left leg, press the left heel to the mat, flex the left foot, activate. As you pull the right foot and the right leg down with your right hand, press the right foot up, causing resistance. Back to a deep opening for the right hip. Find your breath. Now just release your hand from your foot. Take your left hand to the outside of the right thigh. Open the right arm out and gently guide the left knee over to, the right knee over to the left. And as you take the right knee over to the left, keep the right shoulder down, gaze to the right. Now, if that hurts your neck, you can look straight up or you can look to the left, but give yourself time to feel into the spinal twist. Now, if the strap is still connected to your foot, you could take your hand to the other end of the strap and straighten that right leg, feeling into the IT band. If that's a little too much activation, let the strap go, come back to bending the knee. Spinal twist, an opportunity to detoxify. Almost time to come out. On your next inhale, lift the right knee up, roll onto your back. Grab onto the strap if it's still connected to the foot. If it's not, get ready to set it up on the left side. Lift the left leg, bend the left knee. Take the left foot into the loop of the strap or reposition for the left side. Now release the right foot, bring the right foot down to the mat. Knee is bent. Straighten the left leg. So you've got your ankle in line with your knee, knee in line with your hip. Walk your hands up the strap and then pull the strap toward your body. Feel into this side. Remember, take your time for this deep stretch. There's no rush. If you feel like you're ready to go for a deeper stretch, you can pull the leg, pull the strap toward your body, deepening and intensifying the stretch. Feeling the sensation in the left hamstring and the left calf muscle. Continuing to walk the hands up the strap if that's available. And maybe you press the heel up to the ceiling, getting an even deeper stretch, knowing that you can soften the foot and back out if you need to. Really empowering yourself in your practice by taking the proper steps to protect your body and to stretch and move in a way that's really serving yourself. Let's take one more round of breath here. And know that from here we'll transition into our half happy baby. So when you're ready, bend that left knee, let the knee go wide. You can keep the strap where it is. Maybe the hand stays on the strap. Release the right arm, or maybe the peace fingers of the left hand find the big toe, or you take your hand to the pinky side of the left foot. So we're pulling that left knee to the outside of the left ribs. From here, we're going to extend that right leg, pressing the right heel to the mat, flexing the right foot, activating the right leg, opening the front of the right hip as we open the left hip. Half happy baby. Pulling that left leg down as the left foot presses up. Sole of the left foot is facing up to the ceiling. And from here, we'll transition to our spinal twist, just taking our time. First, lifting that right arm, taking the right hand to the outside of the left thigh. Release the left arm, let it ground down to the left side, and then gently guide that left knee over to the right as you gaze to the left. Practice keeping the left shoulder down. Move any props that might be in your way. And if you're looking to the left and this hurts your neck, remember you can look straight up, or maybe you look over to the right. Just feel into the back space. Spinal twisting is so important for the health of our spine. And if you took the option on the other side, maybe your hand reaches for the other end of the strap as you straighten the left leg, feeling into the IT band. And if that's stressing you, or you feel like you're pulling or grabbing or anything like that, then just come back to the bent knee, back to the spinal twist. Right hand can gently rest to the thigh, not pushing, just gently helping to guide the knee down. If there's space between the knee and the ground, you can always position a block if that's more comfortable, or a pillow. It's almost time to come out. On your next inhale, lift the knee up, roll onto your back, release the strap. Let the left sole of the foot come down, and now bend the right knee, right sole of the foot is down. Feel your entire back grounded again on the mat. From here, you can lengthen your legs, or you can take the blocks underneath your low legs or underneath your knees to support the low back. Create space between the feet, space at the armpits. Now coming into Shavasana, if you would like that time of integration and relaxation to round out your practice. In this resting posture, check to make sure that your chin is tucked towards your chest. Let your eyes close. Take a deep inhalation through the nostrils. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Take another breath in that way. Inhale all the way to the top of the breath. Exhale, feel your body sinking down to the mat. Fully letting go with each exhale. Letting your mat, the ground, the sacred practice space hold you and support you. Nurturing you, allowing you to be in stillness after all the movement that you've offered to yourself. Feeling so empowered for serving yourself. Knowing that once you come off the mat, you'll be in a better position to follow through with the rest of your day, because now you've given time to yourself. You've honored self-care. You took the time to connect with your body and your breath, yourself. Anytime you spend time connecting to yourself, that's empowerment. Allow yourself 3 more full rounds of breath. As we slowly start to come out, gently wiggle the fingers and the toes. And when you're ready to make the movement bigger, you can circle the ankles and the wrist. Bend the knees. Roll over onto one side. Maybe you rock from side to side before you get there if you'd like. And as you roll over onto one side, give yourself a moment in the fetal position. And maybe with your eyes closed, just visualize how you want the rest of your day to look once you leave the mat. How do you want to feel empowered? How do you want to take on your tasks and your responsibilities? What does it look like to empower yourself and others? Once you're content with that visualization, use your energy to press up to a seated position. And finding our way back onto our seat, just like we did at the start of our practice. Whether you're sitting on blocks or not, reaching the crown of the head up, rooting down in the seat, straight spine. Deep breath, feel into the body. Exhale, let go. Inhale, sweep the arms up, fingertips to the sky, taking in all the power that you need. Exhale, palms meet. Bring this power into the midline. Take it in for yourself. Inhale through the nostrils. Exhale, open your mouth. Send empowerment out to others. Thank you for being here, for showing up for your practice. I'll see you next time. Namaste.